today I'm going to do my 1 year review of my endless pool. I've had this thing now since April of last year, 2022. We're now in July, so a year and 4 months, and there's been some very good parts of it. There's also been some pretty negative bits with the pool, so I'm going to go through everything. Full disclosure though with the pool, I was given a $10,000 discount from Endless Pools for the pool, so just to put it out there, you know, we want everything to be legit on this channel. We don't want to hide stuff, but you'll see the highs, you'll see the lows, and then you can make your own minds up on whether or not you think it's worthwhile getting an endless pool. So let's get on with the show. This always happens with a pool. Oh, yeah, it's so annoying. Luckily, I know the man for the job.
Who's the man for the job?
Old Techno. He's probably sitting at home, chilling, and he's always up for a helping hand and a swim. Just give him a little buzz. Looks like he might be out.
Let me guess, you need some help with the endless pool.
Yeah, mate, the cover's come off again. Like,
Has it?
yeah, do you fancy a swim?
No, but I'll come and help you with the cover.
Alright, nice one. See you in a bit.
Alright, and I'll see you shortly.
Bye.
Bye.
A few moments later.
And,
Go on, Techno, through the wilderness.
yeah.
He's battling through the jungle.
Is this side, is it already fell off?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible. See, the problem with this is the bolts they supply just aren't fit for the job. They just like, and the way the cover is bolted to the decking just isn't enough, is it? It's just not. No. It's just not suitable. I mean, like this pool's probably only been used like 50 times, probably something like that. You know, like it should get a lot more use than that. I mean, probably 50 times, because I mean I drained the water out during the winter. I'll go into that a bit more later, but you know, 50 times probably what it's been used, and the bolts just need to be bigger, and I think they need to make it stronger in the future. But anyway, Chuckle Brothers, here we go.
Theo, to me. Theo, to me. Theo, to me. Theo, to me.
Just hold that thing on and all that. That is the most annoying thing with the pool at the moment, because the handy thing normally with it is you just need one person, whereas now at the moment you need 2 people. Well, lift it up and just hook it on there.
It won't stay on.
You just got to wedge it onto the bolt and put it on the inside. I can do it if you want. Once you have got it open, you can see it is actually quite a nice pool, and it is nice to swim in. Alright guys, so what you might be thinking is, what does a pool like this cost, and what do you get with it? So the basic cost of the pool of this one is £34,002, and that doesn't even include the deck in here. Like, it comes looking like a bin bag in your garden. Like, this is what it looks like. The extras I've got in here: 54-inch panel depth, so to get it 54 inches deep instead of 48 or something, whatever it comes with, I can't remember now. It was a little while ago, but to get it deeper, £2,364, so decent amount. If you're a midget, you're laughing really, because you don't need it. Tension strap leveling system, which is this thing I think here, £228. A manual retractable security cover. So the thing what looks like the Chuckle Brothers that we have to open now, £1,812 for that. If you want the electric one, I think that's about £7,000, so a hell of a lot more. So yeah, what pays to open it yourself. Just a shame it doesn't come a bit more secure for that cost. Fit at Home controller app. That was a system that the Endless Pools do, an app which looks great on paper. You get it on your iPad and you can program sets in, say like 2100s that you want it to go at a certain speed, and you can put your recovery in. Sounds great. Downside is I've never managed to get it to work. Constantly had problems with the Wi-Fi talking to the pool, and it just never worked, not even from day one. So that was a waste of money really. Wood coping, £474. I can't even remember what that was now. Corner step. So the step here, to get in, this little step, £312. The bench, £432. But you need these two. You can't really get in without this bench round there. You know, it's 54 inches deep. You know, it's 4.5 feet. So if you don't have that, very hard to get in. So you kind of have to buy it. 2 lights in the pool, so if you're swimming at night, you can see what you're doing. £546. Mirror on the bottom, £270 for that. Swim communicator, which is some headphones that you get, Finnis headphones, so if you're swimming someone can talk to you. £138. That's probably not too bad, to be fair, because if you did have a coach and someone was talking to you, you can have it on your head, you know, and say they could tell you, give you some tips, and they could talk to you. Downside is it's a bit bulky under your hat, but not too bad considering some of the other costs. The decking, so this, which I had to get as an extra, that ended up costing me around £1,500. I was very lucky that my dad actually fitted this for me. Otherwise, Endless Pools charge you if you want to fit the installer that I had with Endless Pools. He charges £375 a day plus VAT. It would have probably taken 3 or 4 days for him to do, so it would have been £2,000 extra. The decking, if Endless Pools supplies it, was £3,500, and then I think you still have to pay for the extra to get them to do it. So you'd be talking like £5,000 if you wanted that with Endless Pools. So extortionate amount of money, really, if you get them to do it. The installation fee, so once you actually pay and you spec up your pool, so the total cost of all that, what I said, was without the decking, was £41,388. As I said earlier, Endless Pools gave me a $10,000 discount, which took mine to £33,311. A decent amount of money, a lot of money, I would say, for what it is. If we go into the installation fee, which is what Endless Pools charges, they charge you 10% of your total pool cost as the installation fee. So because I got the discount, that made my installation fee around £3,300 roughly. If I hadn't have got the discount, my installation fee would have been £4,100. And the things what you've got to realise is when you buy an Endless Pool, that the installation fee doesn't cover the groundwork. So mine's partially sunken, so it looks, I couldn't sink it anymore to do with housing, to do with planning permission, because it's within a certain amount of distance to the neighbour's boundary. So I could only sink it to the foundation line. So this is the steepest the most I could sink it in this gardener's house. If I had my way, I could do it if I got their permission. They wouldn't give me the permission, so this is as much as I could get, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have liked to have sunk it right to the ground level, had some decking over it, and you wouldn't even know it was there. That would be ideal. But it doesn't include the groundwork anyway for the Endless Pools, which I don't think you would expect. You know, if you want it sunken in the pool, then obviously you've got to pay to dig the hole, which is fair enough. However, I would have thought that the installation fee would have included getting it to you from once it enters the country. It doesn't include that. So it cost me £600 and something on top of the installation fee to get it to me once it had already arrived into the country. And that's not including the £3,100 that I had to pay to get it air freighted in, because there was a 6 to 12 month wait on getting a boat, and I would have had to pay for the shipping on the boat, which would have been about £1,500 anyway. So if I wanted to wait another year, I could have saved £1,500. But with COVID and all the problems, I ended up putting the order in for this in 2021 when pools were very hard to get into. A lot of stuff was shut, and I wanted to keep on top of my swimming. So I paid to get it as quick as I could. But like I say, that was around £3,100. And then obviously I paid another £3,000 for the installation fee. That's £6,000. Then another £600 to get it shipped over to me, which I thought would have been included in the installation fee. As I said, it wasn't. And I also would have thought that the installation fee would have covered the electrics, but that's another thing to bear in mind when you get an Endless Pool. The installation fee doesn't also include the electrics, so it's not the phrase installation fee is pretty misleading, because it's not an installation fee where it will be up and running. It is just an assembly fee. They will just literally bolt the metal bits together. So one thing I would say to you if you're doing it is be aware the total cost that you see and the installation fee is part of it. It actually cost me another £3,000 to get it shipped into the UK, another £600 and something to get it delivered to my house, another £500 for the electrics, another £1,500 for the decking on top, and luckily, like I said, my dad was able to fit the decking. He did it for free, otherwise it would have probably cost about another £1,500 to do that. So it does work out very expensive. Pump for the pool, you need a pump as well, which was £150, and that goes on top of the the cover if you've got it outside, so when water lands on it you can actually pump the water off. Otherwise this thing accumulates so much rainwater that you can't actually open the cover because the weight on it is too heavy. I'll go into some of the running costs as well in a little while, because this is just the cost of getting the pool. The running costs on its own are a completely another ball. This is another massive thing, and something that you definitely don't think of, but you really need to factor this in before you commit to an endless pool.
You're cold.
This thing is freezing. Guys, you know why this thing's freezing? It's because I can't afford to heat it. If I want to heat this thing, I'm going to need a new mortgage. I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to talk through some of the running costs with you. Alright, so running costs. Why is my pool so cold? Well, first of all, the heating of it is crazy. So before the electricity prices went up and we had the cost of living crisis with the whole Ukraine and Russia thing going on, it cost me roughly about £400 during the summer per month to heat it to 27 degrees Celsius, which was a temperature that you could swim in without a wetsuit, and it was quite nice. Then we had the whole Russia-Ukraine thing where the war kicked off and it sent the electricity prices mental, and during the winter my pool would have cost about £2,000 per month to heat once the cost of electricity went up, which is crazy. And if you break that down and you swim 2 times a week in the pool, the cost of that each swim at that price would have worked out £200 per swim to swim at a nice temperature, which you're just not going to pay that. You know, it's just not worth £200 to £250 a swim to go in there. So that's one thing you have to bear in mind. The cost of electricity is crazy. And some of you might be saying, well, Joe, what about an air source heat pump? That's a good one, but the air source heat pump I think is around £7,000, and it would roughly half the cost. So say then you pay £1,000 a month for the heating, that's still about £100 a swim. So would you really want to pay £100 to £125 a swim? I don't know, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. That's if you've got it outside. You can, some people might think, well, you can put the pool indoors and swim indoors and have the pool there. Well, you can, but personally I don't think it's that nice to swim indoors. You want to be outside. And secondly of all, I've heard of a lot of people suffering with damp from having a pool in their house, and also smelling of chlorine in the house, and I don't really want damp in the house or it smelling like chlorine. So that's another thing to bear in mind when you think of this. Also in the summer, the cost of electricity is a lot cheaper. I will bear that, I will take that, but with now the prices have gone up, it would cost me roughly between £800 and £1,000 if I wanted to heat it to 27 degrees in the summer. So roughly, if you average it out, it might cost you about £150 a swim if you swim in it twice a week over the course of the year, which I don't really want to pay that. So I haven't actually had the heating turned on at all this year, which has made it at the peak when we've had the bit of the heat wave, the pool went up to 22.5 degrees, which with a wetsuit was very nice. Without a wetsuit, it's not really for me, although some of you might say that I'm a wimp, which granted, I will take that. I am a bit of a wimp with cold water, but still, I don't think it's that warm. Currently it's at 19 degrees, and that's just naturally with that. And just with the filters on, it's costing me about £150 a month at the moment, and that's just running the filters and for the power of when I do a swim. So that's roughly what it's costing, which is a lot more than what I was told. Well, before I got the pool, I was told it would cost about £200 a month to heat it and run it, which it's never cost me £200. You know, the minimum it's cost me was £400 and something a month. All right, now we've gone into some of the costs, I'm going to get in something warm and go for a swim. All right, guys, back again. There are some positives to the endless pool though, however, and I'm going to get into my favourite things about the pool. Starting off with, it's awesome for looking at your technique. So with the mirrors on the bottom, as you're swimming, you can see how you're catching and what you're doing with your stroke, which is really handy. Another good thing is, it's got a pace clock up there, which you can see the speeds that you're swimming at, and it's pretty comparable to how it feels in the pool, and a good benchmark of the times you're hitting. I always wonder what it would feel like to be in the front pack and what kind of speeds they go. So let's turn this bad boy up, should we? 60 seconds per 100 pace. Let's see what I've got. Can you see the pace clock there, Tyler?
No.
There we go. Ramping it up, mate. 60-second pace. Oh, 55 seconds per 100. You ready? Bloody hell. I thought it was going to knock me over the edge. Did it sound like it was going mental?
You look like so much quicker.
I can still feel it. During the winter as well, I actually drained it this year because not having it heated, even with a wetsuit, it would have just been too cold. The water temperature would have probably been 5-6 degrees. I'm not into cold water swimming. The only thing it would have been good for would have been an ice bath, basically, or doing that cold water plunging, which some people do. So I drained it, and then I filled it back up at the start of the summer to let it heat up naturally with the air temperature, and I thought with a wetsuit that'd be fine. And when I filled it back up with water, I got a letter from the water company, although this is the second letter that I've got. The first one said I had a leak. This one, as you can see, says, thanks for fixing the leak. So filling that big old pool up down there makes the water company think that you've actually got a leak, that a tap in your house is broken. And yeah, they're saying that thanks for fixing it. I'm doing a big thing for the environment. So, you know, it's not really that great that you have to drain it draining all the water out there because you can't swim in it in the winter because it's just so extortionately priced to heat it. But that is my pros and that is my cons of the pool. And my overall summary would be, do I think you should buy one? Do I think you should consider buying one? Or do I think you should keep the money? And personally, after having it for a year and 3 months, I would say for the normal person that you're probably best off keeping your money. It just works out too expensive, I think, to justify having one as the running costs. If it was a case of you buy it and it costs you £50 a month to heat and to run, yeah, go ahead. But in the current climate and where it costs over, you know, if you want to heat it over £1,000 a month, it's just not worth it. You know, you can go to the pool normally, I mean, £12,000 a year to £15,000 a year to heat it and run it. You can go on training camps all through the winter if you wanted to and train in warm weather. You could upgrade your bike, you could upgrade your equipment. That might pay for a few races and a family holiday for every year for the money you save from it. So the running costs for me just make it unaffordable, and I would say you're probably not worth buying one because although the cost of the pool is a decent amount, the running costs are the big thing that really make it unaffordable, I think, in my opinion.